opinions and comments expressed on the following radio program by its hosts and their guests do not necessarily reflect the views of rmconair.com or its affiliates. Listener discretion is advised.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the So What Morning Show. It's another Tuesday, and as is commonplace, Jeff Brown is not here. It's what he does. He's, hey.
So I'm like your average white man. Average white band.
The average white band or the average white man?
There you go.
There it is. It's Election Tuesday. Have you voted? If not, talk to us. Hey, if you're experiencing any voter issues, you know, there's always a hustle going down. I saw the campaign with Will Ferrell. Somebody's voting machine ain't working, or it's tallying up votes for someone you didn't want to vote for, right? I think I got something on Facebook from Taraji that was saying, don't click all Democrats because if you do, that'll exclude President Obama. I don't know. If you're having any voter irregularities, somebody call us at 323-965-1600. I want to welcome you once again to the So What Morning Show here on rmconair.com. Great, man, let me tell you, when I tell you I got some topics that's going to be crazy, and I got a special guest that's going to blow the roof off the mug. It's going to be crazy. But before I do all of that, let me introduce 1/3 of the team. We're waiting for the other third to complete so we can form Voltron, but he's not quite here yet. Let me introduce none other than our resident doctor, Dr. Mark Goulston, author of Just Listen. You gotta get this book. It's incredible. Listen, I was on a plane on my way to Arizona, and I'm going through the Sky Mall. You know how you do on the plane, and especially with the Sky Mall. You don't let the stewardess see you rip out pages. Oh, I like this. You rip something out, fold it up, put it in your pocket. But I noticed something. There was an advertisement for, you know, an iPod kind of software where you can download the app for books. Instead of reading the whole book, it gives you the summary of the book, right? So it says, you know, get to the meat of the book quicker without having to read the whole book. One of the books in that stack was Just Listen. I was like, that's my co-host. This dude is a star. Welcome, Mark Goulston. How you doing today, man?
I'm the always on time and occasionally and rarely funny co-host, and I'm glad to be that.
Welcome to the voice, and this ain't the voice of reason. This is the So What Morning Show. What am I talking about? But let me do this really quickly. Did you vote?
I'm going to after this.
Can we ask who you voting for? I mean, I know it's a private matter and all, but everybody in here is black, and you kind of know who we voting for. Just cuz. I'm just saying.
Once you go black, you never go back.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen. And listen, my whole thing right now is to prove or disprove the validity of Psychic Wayne. Because Psychic Wayne did a reading on this show saying that President Barack Obama would win in a squeaker. He did say that, did he not? If he loses, should we just go all Inquisition on him and go burn down his apartment building? I don't know, but we should do something. We've already validated him as this great psychic. If he is wrong, what should be his punishment? 323-965-1600 is the number to dial. Chuck Doe is not in the building because I think the young 19-year-old intern / producer journalist went to go vote. So I guess apparently the lines are long wherever she's at. So she couldn't make it in today. She's getting a lot of positive feedback on YouTube, on Facebook. Everybody's agreeing to how beautiful and talented she is. And I'm very pleased to have her on our team. Unfortunately, she won't be here today. Also, because she's not here, somebody's about to get some FaceTime. If you ever wondered what DJ Mr. Number Wonderful looks like, here it is. Does he have camera access? Can we see this dude?
Wonder no more.
There he is, DJ Mr. Number Wonderful in the building, ready to roll. Let's do this. I want to take a quick break, but I think we have a caller before I take this break. Let's go to the caller real quick and see what's happening out in the world before we get into our stories. Caller, you're on the Zoe What Morning Show. Holla at me.
Hey there.
Caller?
Caller.
That beat is cracking. Oh, well. We're going to get to you in a minute. 323-965-1600 is the number to dial. Reach out. Let us know. I'm going to take a quick break, but when I come back, I'm going to hit you with some stories. I'm going to introduce oh, man, you have no idea what's about to happen with this special guest, because we got into an argument last week. It was a very good discussion, and I feel like this guest is going to bring my point home. 323-965-1600. Zoe What Mornings. We'll be back at 2.2. Talk to you in a minute.
Many black voters claim the mistrust that lingers coincides with a widespread belief that people do make deliberate attempts either to thwart African American attempts to vote or to miscount the ballots once cast.
Turns out, about half of the votes, which are thrown out spoiled for technical reasons, are cast by African Americans. Why? African Americans get the crappy schools, they get the crappy hospitals, they get the bad police protection, they get the bad voting machines. The main thing is there is no coverage on American television and American radio about the massive disenfranchisement of black voters.
Convicted of any crime.
But they had you down as a serious convicted criminal.
Wrong person. I've never been arrested in my life, Got out of the military, been in the medical field ever since. I mean, you can't even work for a hospital being a convicted felon. And I was in the Persian Gulf War, so, pretty screwed up how they did me, but what can I say?
Based on peace and justice and equality, we will find ourselves caught up in the rhetorical universe that has been fabricated by global corporate dominance and its major spokespersons in the Bush administration. So what does it mean to fight for democracy today? Another world is possible.
Ladies and gentlemen, Zoe What Mornings back in the building. 323-965-1600. Call us. Let us know what your voter experience is or has been. Who are you voting for? Come on, y'all. Somebody talk to me about your story, your experience. I saw something on the internet that said, if you're voting for each guy, whoever you're voting for, no judgment, but whoever you're voting for, look around and see who's in that guy's company. They were like, yo, somebody is voting for Romney. Look who's in Romney's company. And they started naming people like George W. Bush. They started naming people like Dick Cheney.
Tell me if you think this is offensive. It's got to offend at least a few people.
Let's hear it.
What?
Oh,
Shut
yeah.
it off?
Yeah, it's talking to us, Doc.
When you talk about who's in whose company,
Yeah.
I think about wives, because my wife really stabilizes me. And it's not the easiest job to do.
Right.
And when I think of the wives, I'm not unimpressed by Romney's wife. I think she's very sweet. I think she's terrific. But if I was going to have pillow talk with someone who might be able to put some thought into the issue and ground me in a way, I'm incredibly impressed with Michelle Obama.
Wow. 323-965-6100.
And I don't mean to offend anyone, and I'm not trying to put anyone down. I am just so impressed with Michelle Obama, and what I'm really impressed by is the respect that Barack has for her.
Wow.
And I'm not saying that I think Mitt loves his wife. I think he adores her.
They
I think
have a
he's
great
protective.
relationship,
I think they have a
whatever.
Great relationship.
Right.
But I will open things up to my wife, and even President Obama was sort of saying in his last speech last night in Des Moines, he was saying, I don't always please everyone. Just ask Michelle.
Just ask my wife.
So I'm just throwing that out there, just as a data point. And
Wow.
You have at me if you think that's immaterial. But when you said who's in your circle, I haven't used my wife enough to help me vet some of the people who come into my world who sometimes aren't in my best interest.
Wow,
My
really
wife
quickly.
is really protective. She does a great job.
And really quickly, if you're just tuning in, that is the author of Just Listen, Dr. Mark Goulston. It's a great book. Discover the secret to getting through to absolutely anyone. Let me ask you some questions about that. I need 3 things that people do, maybe unknowingly, unconsciously, or whatever, that prevent them from totally connecting and listening. Because when we talk about Barack Obama and Michelle, it appears that they listen to each other. There's a mutual respect and there's a mutual consideration for each other, and they're genuinely interested in what the other has to say. Give me 3 things that people do that kind of shut their ability to connect with their partner off.
Well, in one of the chapters in Just Listen, I talk about the fact that none of us listen ever. Zero, zilch.
Wow.
What happens is we form quick opinions about people, and that shades the way we listen. So, for instance, if you and I were getting into a tiff, Zoe, and then you were saying, Doc, you gotta pump up the volume here. I mean, you gotta be one of our equals here. Sometimes you're a little bit kind of passive, whatever like that. Now I could, so in my mind, I could start going to, well, maybe I shouldn't be a co-host on this show. Maybe it's a comedy show. Maybe my energy isn't good enough, and yada yada yada, and all that. And my filter could be saying.
By the way, this is what the doc really thinks about himself. Go deeper.
No, it is. Not knowing what I bring to the show,
Right.
and I hope we get some call-ins because I love to have conversations with the people who call in. But my energy is sort of different, and it kind of slows the pace down. And
Right.
and I don't know if that slowing the pace down is thoughtful or just something that kind of ruins the energy. And so if my filter is, I knew it sooner or later, Zoe, you'd say, Doc, we thought it was going to work out, but it's not.
Right.
So that could be my filter.
Right.
And part of that's sort of true.
Yes.
It's just a matter of time before I wear out my welcome.
Right.
But if I were to say, what's that about, Zoe? Instead of assuming that you were saying, come on, pump it up, or you're going to have to leave.
Right.
If instead of assuming that, I said, what's that about? And I think if you were to say, and Zoe and I have a great relationship, I think if you were to say, which I think is what you feel is, Doc, you and I kind of love each other. We have each other's back.
Right.
You have so much value to offer. If you wait for the baton to be given to you, Jeff and I are kind of aggressive. We won't give it to you. Just reach for the baton. It's not going to hurt you.
Right.
You're not going to be seen as too pushy. You're not
Right.
going to be seen as such and such. You have value for my listeners and our listeners. Just pump it up because I think so much of you.
Right.
But if my filter was you were saying pump it up or leave, I wasn't listening to you. And
So-
we all do that.
If you're telling me, if I'm understanding you correctly, you're telling me that it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy, whatever predominant thought you hold, whether it be positive or negative. So if I'm sitting here thinking, oh man, I'm not doing what I should be doing, or comparing and contrasting, looking through this filter, the filter is creating that reality for me at some point, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll give you an example that might strike home with some of our listeners. I remember I did this exercise with a group of parents, and imagine you had a kid, a teenager who's not doing his schoolwork, and you're kind of ticked off because you want him to, not drop out or fail out. And imagine you see him and he comes down from his room and he's in the kitchen, and you don't know if he's doing his schoolwork, and you said, so did you get your homework done for tomorrow? Mm-hmm. And he said, no. So the words in your mind are lazy, loser, he's not going to amount to anything. Mm-hmm. What is his issue? Mm-hmm. So can you imagine that you're listening like that if that's how you would see him, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But what if you, instead of not listening to him, said, without any criticism, hey, what's that about? And what if he said something like, I did my homework last night, I did it the night before, and I knew if I told you that, what you would say is, well, let's see if you can keep it up. But I just heard that one of my friends got killed last night at a party we went to. And I'm a little torn up, Dad. So I got some stuff in my mind, so I'll get back to my work. But
I need a moment.
But I need a moment. Now, if he had said that, it would change the whole way you listen to him.
Wow.
And the sad thing is this happens all the time. Mm-hmm. We jump to conclusions.
There's the inner critic. There's the inner judge. When we respond with appraisal, good and bad, right and wrong. And a lot of times it's a negative appraisal because of where we're coming from. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't have done it that way. This is how I would do it. That's how we're responding. And I think it really creates this disconnect between the giver and the receiver. You know what I mean? I'm trying to give you something and I would like you to receive it. Well, I can't receive it the way you're giving it.
Absolutely.
And it creates this kind of contentious dynamic. I've always been one to believe that in that contention, there is a gift, there is an understanding to be had, but there has to be a willingness to want to receive it. And the only way to do that is to put aside the ego and all of the filters that you were talking about. The filter might be you're attacking me. So I'm looking at it from a defensive space as opposed to, well, let me see what you have to say, right?
And be open to what you have to say. When I give talks on listening, and I ask people, what do you imagine someone looks like if they're not listening to you and think you're wasting their time? What's the posture you think if someone is just thinking, this is a waste of my time, I'm not listening to you? And most people will say, well, I think they're crossing their arms and they're looking up at the ceiling. Mm-hmm. Now, they may not be doing that in front of you, but in their mind, they're doing it. And so when I give workshops and seminars, I say, there's an old song, the hip bone's connected to the thigh bone. Well, the way our body is in its posture is connected to our mind. And so what I tell people, if you want to open up their mind to you, if you can get them to uncross their arms in reality, they will uncross their arms in their mind. Wow. So how do you do that? When someone says a word like never or always, or they use intensity, like, I can't believe you're saying that, instead of taking them on, it's kind of what you do about go deeper. You could say more about the never. Or say more about the always. So when they're using something that has some emotion in it, what they'll do is they'll start using their hands because the words don't say enough. Right. And when they're using their hands, they're opening up their mind to you. The key is you want to keep drilling, and you want to keep saying, say more about that, and that, and that. Wow.
Are you guys listening to this? That is a keep drilling by asking them to go deeper, to say more, to expound.
Yeah. So you're doing it right now with your hand. And you said, say more about, that's a revelation. Say more.
Say more. Go deeper. Open up. Right? Wow. This is crazy. Most people don't have these tools, Doc. So in the book, can they get these tools in a practical sense and be able to apply it to their lives?
People can get it in the book. It's on Kindle. I'm very humbled. This had no advertising, no book tour, and it reached #1 in Shanghai, Munich. It's in 14 languages. And if people will send an email, I will send them the Sky Mall copy, because that's an executive summary of the book in 5 pages. If they send an email to, well, I guess I'll give you my email. You can just send it to me. But
Right now, you're about to get a gift from Dr. Mark Goulston. The executive summary of his book. If you pay attention right now and write down the email. The email address is what, Doc?
now that's the challenge. I got the weirdest name to spell,
Jesus. Here
so
we
bear
go.
with me. It's M. Goulston, MGoulston, M. Goulston at markgoulston.com, MarkGoulston.com. And that same thing that you see in Sky Mall magazine, where I'm humbled that this book is selected as one of their top downloads. Actually, it was their top download for 2 months.
Wow.
Out of 6,000 books a year or two ago. And I will send that to you free, but you're going to send me your email and just put down in the subject title, Just Listen Summary. I'll get that to you.
Wow. Just listen. And I love the subtitle. Discover the secret to getting through to absolutely anyone. Now, let me ask you this question before I move on to our break. Is it possible to break through and get through to absolutely anyone if those people, or if that person in particular isn't willing or open to listen to what you have to say? When do you just throw your hands up and walk away?
It's interesting that you mentioned this, because with my partner, I've been putting on programs that take away negativity from people and organizations, completely eliminate it.
Wow.
And
here.
what we've discovered, though, the program is pretty good. What we've discovered is how we structure it. What we realize is the top 20% of any organization are positive people. They're seekers. They're curious. They try to improve themselves. The bottom 20% are naysayers. They come into a meeting, they're looking at their email, they're looking up at the ceiling trying to get other people enrolled in their negativity. They don't want to be there. And what happens is they are they corrupt the spirit. And the middle 60% they're not rah-rahs, but they're not naysayers. So in our program that removes negativity, what we do is we don't include the bottom 20%. We take the middle 60%, bring them up into the top 20% of positivity, and then what happens is the bottom 20% become alien to the culture. And after a year, they leave. So imagine a great company like Costco or Trader Joe's, a group of gossipy people, employees, could not last there because they would be alien to the culture. They would start gossiping and people would say, well, we don't do that here.
Wow.
And so in answer to your question, I think there are some people that are dyed in the wool through and through negative.
Wow.
And what you don't want to do is spend all your time trying to convert people that you will never convert.
And this is what you were talking about last week as well, right?
Right. And I think one of the greatest tragedies in life is ignoring the people that really care about you while you're chasing after the people who never have and never will to get their approval.
Wow.
That is one big waste of time.
Wow. We're about to take a quick break, but before we do, what propositions are you for or against? I'm going to send that question out right now. You got to link up with Dr. Mark Goulston. Get the 5-page executive summary of Just Listen by Dr. Mark Goulston. Send him your email address. But what propositions are you for or against? What about that Monsanto and the Frankenfoods? What about the porn initiative? There's a lot of stuff out there right now. Somebody call us right now and let us know what propositions you're for or against. The number is 323-965-1600. I'm about to take a quick break, but when I return, topics, guests, phone calls. We'll be back at 2.2. Ladies and gentlemen, So What Mornings. And guess who followed the rules today? He was here, but he stayed outside because of what? The red light was on. Normally he just walked through. Hey, how y'all doing? Who has said?
I just bounce in here.
Right.
In the middle of a sentence. So anyway, I told that fool. I didn't do that today.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the So What Morning Show. Let us know what propositions you're for or against the death penalty. Who's for it? Who's against it?
I think we should have electric bleachers. But I don't.
Electric bleachers and sit the prisoners on the bleachers wet, soaking wet.
Soaking wet. But no, that's only for smoking gun cats. It's too many. My only problem with the death penalty is nobody rich has ever had to take it.
Wow. Jeff Brown just came in with a haymaker. Of course, he's here. The doctor, the philosopher, and the comedian. We are about to form Voltron. Welcome back to the So What Morning Show. What props are you for or against? Who are you voting for? Call us right now at 323-965-1600. What I would like to do is rattle through some of our top stories before we get to our special guest. Because when I tell you we got a treat for you guys in terms of our guests, it's crazy. So let's just do this right now. Dr. Mark Goulston has already hit us upside the dome piece with some listening skills. Right?
Of course. Always.
From the Just Listen book. So now let's go through our top stories. All right? There's a man, right, who sued his wife for birthing an ugly baby, and he won.
That's fair. That baby must have been ugly as hell.
Yahoo News reports a man by the name of Jian Feng from China sued his beautiful wife after she gave birth to a not-so-attractive baby. Feng says the baby girl, who was so ugly that she horrified him, he couldn't understand how a good-looking man such as himself and his wife, who is supposedly very, very gorgeous, very beautiful, could produce such an ugly thing. He concluded his wife must have cheated on him because she confessed to another reason. You know what the other reason was?
What?
This woman had plastic surgery and didn't tell him. So she was falsely beautiful.
Fraud. Fake beauty.
And produced a little wilder monkey.
That's right.
And
I don't care how much plastics God bless the dead. I don't care how much plastic surgery Michael Jackson did. If he'd have fathered a baby, it would have came out looking like Tito. Straight up.
So what do you think about those Michael Jackson kids? Are they his? Because do they look anything like Gary Indiana Jeans? I'm just saying.
Them kids don't even look like each other. They look like neighbors.
Oh, God.
Get the hell out of here.
God. Well, the man's wife reportedly went to South Korea and spent over $100,000 on cosmetic surgery to get altered. And then had a little Yeti.
Yeah. I say if we stop screwing all the ugly people, they'll die. I really think.
What?
Yeah.
What?
We should stop. We should be a moratorium. No screwing ugly people. Okay?
But aren't beautiful people the most messed up? Doc, what do you think?
I think being a handsome cat that you are.
Oh yeah, sure. I think what happens is beautiful people sometimes get obsessed with it, and it's never enough. So they start looking like this, with their face all pulled back, and they get caught up in that. And what becomes ugly is they become so focused on how they look, they don't get focused on anything else. I actually heard an interesting story, which is not about beauty, but it's about wealth.
Go deeper.
It was, but it's along the same lines. What did the happy millionaire say to the unhappy billionaire?
I don't know.
Go deep. Give it up.
The happy millionaire said to the unhappy billionaire, "I have something that you will never have." And the billionaire said, "What's that?" And the millionaire said, "Enough."
Wow. From the free throw line, ladies and gentlemen. But again,
and I think that's the problem with the beauty thing is that if you a little bit, I think you start focusing on it. And this is off, and I'm going to add to it. And then you see some of these disasters where I think medium attractive people go, get a little bit beautiful, but then they become really weird. And then I think they're off the charts.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, because you're beautiful, quote unquote.
Shout out to Vivica Fox.
Yeah, wow.
Wow.
She looked like she had a wrestling match with a scalpel and lost.
And why?
But let me just say, in terms of beauty, it's an inner quality more so than it is an external quality.
Not in this world, unfortunately.
But it really is.
Yeah.
It really is. When you meet a beautiful person, they might not be the most aesthetically
Pleasing.
pleasing, but when you meet a soul that's beautiful.
Yes.
When you meet a soul that is empowered from the inside out, it has a different effect on you.
Absolutely.
So, and this is what bothers me too about the cosmetic industry. All over the world, the number one selling beauty product, except in America,
Fading.
is skin bleaching. In all of the third world countries, India, Africa, Asia. And these are all melaninated. These are all melaninated places. And it goes back to the color consciousness. And of course in America we have it light skin versus dark skin, blacks do it amongst themselves. It's called colorism. But what's interesting,
Light skin like the poetess.
what song is this?
I said, I want to be lighter.
This is a GB Wonder.
GB
All y'all
Wonder, yeah.
fools ought to know
I wonder
this.
why Jeff Brown is singing. Right? No, but this is what's interesting. You go all the way back to the Hindu culture, right? 6,000-7,000 years ago. Some people say 5, but they fudge on the numbers. But again, their caste system is based on colors,
Absolutely.
right? The caste system, the Hindu word for color in Sanskrit is varna. It means color. That's what the caste system is called, varna.
Like varnish? Like when you varnish?
No, just color, right? I'm not going to connect it to English, okay? Just
You usually do, though.
Do
You
you
usually
just-
make a
you-
dope
Yeah,
connection.
All right.
something I heard that's not connected to color, but it's some people were discussing something from the Torah, the Jewish scripture.
The other of the big three.
That's right, the other big three. And what it says in the Torah is that people should have sex in the dark and not see people naked. And the reason being is that one's imagination can keep the other person beautiful for longer. And so there's a certain sense, because
makes a lot of sense.
No, really, because then because you start getting judgmental, and the person with you starts saying, "Oh, you're looking at this, you don't like this." No, I don't like your personality. I don't like the fact that I didn't even notice it until you brought it up.
Wow.
Well, fine, go sleep in the other room. So it was prescribed, that one shouldn't see each other naked. Not out of punishment, but to keep one's imagination rich.
at bay. Wow.
You know what? I feel so much better about all the Boulevard cooter I've had.
What is
Okay. Boulevard cooter. That's where you look both ways before you go get it. You're like, okay, make sure you go get it. I done had some of that. I'm okay. Show of hands. Any other men in the room gonna say they done knocked something that they wouldn't let their friends do? Okay.
Well, no, I don't think I have.
Okay. All right.
Well, I had a chance, but I didn't do it.
You didn't take the chance.
No, it was the Johnny Mac situation with the wilder monkey. I didn't do it.
All Johnny Mac's girls. Shout out to Johnny Mac.
Johnny Mac, yeah.
All Johnny Mac's girls come with an ugly girl like as accessory.
It's like a little clutch.
He got a dime
It's a little
hanging
bag.
out with a foe. I don't know why. Okay, you got to take the foe. What is that, Johnny? That's wrong.
Well, hey, it happens to the best of us. Let's move on to the next topic. I'm going to make a special request, a Heffa-clocker request.
Absolutely.
A what?
A Heffa-clocker. It's a company that Jeff Brown started.
Yes.
Heifers need to get clocked
Heifers
too,
need to be busted.
right? It's the
okay.
Heffa-clockers.
Here's the slogan. Okay. No man should hit a woman, but that don't mean you can't pay somebody.
323-965-1600. Reality star Natalie Nunn. People know her from the Bad Girls Club. And I really believe, man, these images that we're putting out there for these young girls to see. I got a 12-year-old daughter. She'll be 13 next month, man.
Wow.
I think we have to take some level of responsibility. Just in America, this is how this works. You don't have to be nobody. But if you write a book, you're now an authority. And then don't let that book sell millions of copies. You're now the preeminent authority.
Going to college.
You ain't had to do nothing, really. You ain't had to read nothing. Let the book be interesting and sell and catch on. You're an authority. So what happens is these celebrities, right, or reality star TV. I mean, look, you got, what's the girl from Jersey Shore?
Snooki.
Snooki. She's on the cover of People magazine.
Stole my uncle's name. That's horrible.
And just because just because she's a Jersey Shore star, now anything she says or does or endorses becomes vetted because it's her. But who is she? What quality, what value? Not to say she doesn't have any quality. That's not what I'm saying.
I'm saying it.
The point I'm making is, in America, if you succeed in a corporate infrastructure, if you're now people are following you, it's just like, oh, I got 1 million followers. Why? It doesn't matter why. Let's give him a TV show. Let's give him sponsorship. Let's back him because he has access to 100 minds. So look at Natalie Nunn. Is she teaching our young girls how to be disrespectful? This is a Heffa-clocker moment. Natalie Nunn is marrying a man by the name of Jacob and was recorded viciously cursing out her fiance and her friends in a demeaning way. She also got in his face, and here's the key word, and I want Doc to weigh in on this. She taunted him. Why do women taunt men?
Okay.
Heffa-clocker moment. Talk to us, Jeff and Mark.
Okay. I need to put an addendum on that. Women don't taunt men. Women taunt men they know they can get away with it with. Okay? If you got that cousin Crazy Charles, that dude that'll beat his girl in front of her daddy, he don't ever have that problem. He don't ever, because she know this dude will put them doorknobs on her like she broke in his house.
But we're not justifying that.
No, I'm not justifying it, but I'm saying if you're not going to talk to, shout out to James Hanna, if you're not going to talk to your man the same way you would talk to Layla Ali, then you a punk and you a bully. A lot of women have been trained to bully their men because they know they can get away with it. They know that if he hit me, now I can jump back in my place. Oh my God, I'm calling police. I can't believe you did that.
So it's Billy Badass up to the victimhood line.
Yes, which is why I shout out to Greasy Linda, my cousin.
Linda?
I got a cousin named Greasy Linda. Melinda, I love you to death. My cousin, and she ain't really that big, but dude, if I had an issue with a girl in a room, I could whisper, you see that girl in the red blouse? I need you to handle that. And my cousin Melinda will go in the bathroom, Vaseline her face up, and come back and put them paws right on that girl.
Wow. I
need to have that in your life.
urge people to go out and YouTube the video of Natalie Nunn going off on her fiance, and you can see what we're talking about. And what we're going to do is, this is going to be a segment, called the Heffa-clocker segment. And whenever they step out of line and do something that I think is unbecoming to a woman, and especially if they have a platform that can influence younger women, we got to call them to the table. The Heffa-clockers moment.
Yeah,
Dr. Mark, what do you think?
I think there's a saying that men want women to stay the same as when they met them, and women are always trying to change men into something else. And so I think what happens is I think it's true.
That's meat and potatoes right there.
So I think women are always noticing things. Now, what upsets the woman is the woman will say, I am only doing this to improve you. Why are you so offensive or offended by this? Well, one of the realities, and one of my friends said this, and I kind of agree with it, if you can accept in your relationship, and call and rip me apart for this thing, but if you can accept in your relationship that all women are crazy or at least crazed, but all men are babies. If you can just accept that, you'll be very happy.
Yeah.
Because men are babies. We are babies. We're thin-skinned. You tease us. It's amazing what we can deal with in the outside world, but you come home and you take an attitude, we are babies. And so what happens is women see these little things and they want to fix them. And part of it is actually one of the reasons, the deeper reasons they want to fix it, is that the most important thing to a woman is that she can look up to the man she's with. Ooh. And when she sees these little things that cause her to lose respect for the man, like when he's BSing another man and when he's posturing or whatever, what happens is it's incredibly painful to a woman to lose respect for the man that she's with. It's not that important for a man to respect a woman. That doesn't mean he should treat her disrespectfully. And so what happens is the woman is always trying to fine-tune. Well, if you did that, I'd respect you a little bit more. If you stopped doing that, I'd respect you a little bit more. But what happens is men just feel picked apart. And when you feel picked apart, it brings out that baby in us, which makes us even less respect-worthy.
And this goes back to my point about how women are dating an idea and not the real person.
She was respecting
There
your
is
facade.
there's a book, right, called Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. And one of the tools that the author gives is don't be a weatherproofer. We weatherproof our homes. We walk around our homes looking for defects so we can fix it. Okay, I'm losing money here if I don't caulk this window. Or if I don't weatherproof my doorway and my windows and make sure all the cracks and insulation is right, I'll lose money on heating and gas or whatever. People walk around their partner weatherproofing them.
Wow.
And what people don't understand is, like the doc just pointed out, if you're fine-tuned to weatherproofing your partner, you're always in critical mode of them. You're always critiquing them, looking for something to fix, as opposed to accepting them. Now, what I've always said was, if you're tolerating your partner, unbeknownst to you or not, it's a silent time limit. Because you can only tolerate so much.
You're going to run out of talent.
So as the doc pointed out, she's looking for little things to try to correct so she can maintain a balance of respect for him, but she's never really been in relationship with him. She's only been in love with her idea of who she thinks he should be. And this is how we get in trouble in our relationships.
One of the other things where it picks up speed, and Jeff, I want you to weigh in on this because you have kids. Often this nitpicking picks up speed when a woman has children. The reason being is a woman really knows if she's a woman after she has a child and how she raises that child. And a child is really unknown. You don't know what the crying's about. You don't know what they're not eating is about. And you can't call the pediatrician every hour. And so a lot of times when a woman feels out of control with the thing that makes her a woman, her identity, her being a mother, she doesn't know what to do with that. So she will deflect her focus onto her man and try to control him and some of the nitpicky things because there's a certain anxiety. I wonder if my baby's safe. I wonder if my baby's smart. I wonder if I should take my baby such and such. And that feeling out of control in a part of her that's a big part of her identity, she will deflect it towards picking apart her husband, trying to control him.
Wow.
Because she feels out of control with the biggest part of her identity, which is being a mom. Does that make any sense to you?
That makes a lot of sense to me, but that's where a dude got to be, let a woman be a woman, let a man be a man.
What does that mean, Jeff?
What does that mean? I like to use the analogy of the kite and the tree. Okay?
Will you
the
do it in your
man,
English voice?
The man in the relationship has to find himself to be the tree, while the woman is the kite. Whatever wind blows up. She flies, she's flighty. Oh, I saw this on Oprah. I was thinking this today. My sister got a new car. Why am I driving this 2008? You cannot be a kite as well.
In other words, you have to be rooted.
You have to be the tree and go, silence, woman, pull in your fangs and sit down.
Wow.
If not.
Are you telling me that women are ephemeral? They don't stay steadfast in anything. They just float they're like a butterfly from flower to flower, pollinating every idea that interrupts their focus.
Pollinating every idea.
You like that, huh? Yeah. I can be articulate from time to time.
I'll tell you this. Women, catch this. I'm going to catch flag. Women are more centered than men.
Uh-oh. 8. Here's the number. The phone line is hot right now. Who do we have online? We got to go there. Caller.
Yes.
Hey.
Hey there.
That sounded sexy. Wake up. Hey.
Got your little pink slippers on with the fur on them? That's what it sounds.
I do not. I'm actually at work.
Okay, you whispering because the man is coming. Okay, well, tell us what's up.
Mama, let us have it.
Well, no, I'm just listening to the show, and I just wanted to weigh in on the topic about women and men. First of all, I don't think a man has a right to hit a woman, but in the same breath, I want to say that we have no right trying to take their place as well. We have no right running up behind them, thinking that we're big and bad, and that we're going to compete with them in any way physically, because we're not. Just point blank simple.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
What's your name?
I'm Melanie, actually.
Hi, Melanie. Let me ask you this. Do you think a woman should really pursue an aggressively toned argument with a man?
Oh, step back. If you feel and then here's, I guess to answer that question, you'd have to be a wise woman to do that. Women can always win a conversation with silence.
or by changing the tone.
Yes.
Right? Wow.
By changing your tone, not even changing your tone sometimes even stepping back, letting them think that they've won when you really won. Sometimes it just takes a rub on the back. Sometimes it takes a, you know what, sweetie, I think you're right, but maybe we can look at it this way. Sweetheart, maybe we can look at it this way.
Sounds like you sound like a grown woman. Where are you calling from, honey?
I'm from Chicago.
Hey, Chi.
There you go. I knew it. Chi-Town, stand up.
Okay,
Girl.
Dr. Goulston wants to speak
before
to you.
Melanie, you got a man in your life?
Yes, I do. His name is Zoe Williams.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
We've
wow.
been married for several years in my mind.
Oh,
in your mind?
Well, send me to...
Yeah.
I'd be available in your life.
You might need the
I'm
time.
actually one of the members of the RER.
okay.
Oh,
Thank
well.
you for calling, honey. The
Have
poet
y'all
just told me.
consummated in y'all mind? Have y'all had a honeymoon night in
I was
y'all
going to
mind?
say,
we've
send me
done all of that.
send me the marriage certificate or something. Let me know how I got locked in.
3-4 days a week. You mind tearing something up there, Zoe?
Oh, I love it. Thank you so much for the call, sweetie.
Bye-bye,
I appreciate
guys.
it. Thanks. That was
Chicago,
rather
that's-
sexy.
That's some Chicago, man. I'm telling you,
Wow.
Midwest women.
Oh,
Shout
damn.
out to the Midwest women. Good
I
Lord.
love it. Jesus. H. Horatio Christ.
Oh, my God. She was sexy.
So let me ask you this, Doc. Should that Natalie Nunn chick and she came from a show called Bad Girls.
Yeah. She need a throat stomping what she need.
With my previous relationship, I found myself watching the Bad Girls because I didn't have a choice.
Oh, wow.
I come over and it's on, and that's what she want to see.
You had a choice. You made the choice to watch it.
Listen. I'm not the argumentative type. You know the scene at the end of the Avengers when Hulk joins the group, and then Iron Man says it's time to suit up. And he tells Captain America, tell the Hulk to suit up. And then Captain America goes, suit up, man. And he goes, all right, don't you need to get mad? And he said, well, my secret is I'm always mad. And then he turned around and turned into the Hulk. That's me. I don't do well with a bunch of confrontational extra chippery. I just don't do that.
Chippery?
The chipperiness, especially if it's emotional and dumb and it doesn't
Yeah, I
have
don't
any
either.
center to it, I can't do it. And then if it's laced with disrespect and contempt and condescension,
Then that's the wrong
I
dog.
have a problem.
Wait, whoa. That's the wrong. Yeah. Okay, ladies.
I'm just telling you what my weakness is.
Dude, ladies.
Should the guy who's supposed to be the fiance of Natalie Nunn marry this chick if she blowing off right
He
there?
should run, not walk away from that broad
Wow.
right now because she is showing him the rest of his life. She's showing him, dude, this is how I handle conflict, and we're not gonna have love and butterflies and Easter grass every day, but we're gonna have conflict.
Easter grass?
Yes, it's gonna be conflict on some level all the time.
I think that leads one of the best tips to figure out if you should stick with someone, if you should marry them. And you shouldn't make it happen so it's artificial, but you should break up with someone before you decide to marry them because you want to see the person at their worst before you marry them because you're going to see them at their worst afterwards.
At some point.
And you don't have to force it. So I'm not saying be manipulative, but really you haven't seen someone at their worst, and it's better to see that up front. Now, if you don't think you can get to breaking up, then at least have a few arguments and see how bad the other person will get in order to win the argument, because that's what you're going to be facing, and better to see that ahead of time than be stuck with that for a lifetime.
I don't know if I agree with that, Doc. Okay.
You don't agree with anything.
No, that's not true. That's not true, dude.
I'm just...
Okay, the doc is so deep, I will never get high around you because you could reduce me to the fetal position with some of this mess that you say.
Okay, don't get high.
No,
Just, yeah.
not around him.
Okay. All right.
I have yet, and I've been in another relationship like this, I have yet to be in a disagreement with my present wife to the point that we raise our voices ever. And we've been together going on 4 years. And
Can you get into a healthy difference of opinion
all the
and
time.
it doesn't? So talk about how you have a difference of opinion that doesn't get into a disagreement.
It's very simple. I know, first off, I know my temper. I've never unleashed my temper on a woman. Second, I know my mouth. I used to tell my ex-wife this, you can say your ding ding is small, you can't screw, and these ain't your kids. And when it's my turn, you gonna cry. Because I got a nasty mouth. I would never, ever turn that on her. So when there's an issue, We go, look, we got to talk about this.
What if you're a punk if you try to leave?
What if you're? I don't deal with that kind of woman. I've had that kind of woman before.
I just wanted to throw that out there because
Yeah, you're
that's
a punk
always
if you try to leave. Well, that's because you're putting weight on her funky words.
When I say leave, I mean distance yourself from the present
From the
conflict.
situation.
Yeah.
What, you a punk? You leaving now? You a punk? I'm leaving. I don't care what you say. You putting weight on her words. At a certain point, with a certain individual like that, you turn them off. I'm not going to turn that individual off more than once and still be with that individual. That was the mistake I made with my last wife.
Wow, good
is
stuff.
That I had to keep
I'm learning
around.
a lot. 323-965-1600 is the number to dial. Please chime in and let us know what your voter experience is. I want to keep reiterating that. Let us know what your voter experience is. Are you experiencing long lines?
Yep.
Are you standing in line right now? Are they trying, depending on your hood, are you having more difficulty than, say, somebody on the other side of town when they walk into the Pleasant Library and there's only a few people in there and it's in and out, you get to vote and it's calm, it's great. You know,
That's where black people
You remember
always...
Ohio, you remember Florida. These are all battlegrounds still that used to have very, very, problematic situations regarding the voting process. Somebody call us right now, 323-965-1600. Okay. That's the number to dial. I got to move to the next topic.
I thought we was on vote.
No, that's just the undercurrent, the understory that you missed
I got something.
standing in the hallway. Anyway, there was a painter. Anti-Obama painter paints a creative piece and titles it Runaway Slave. According to VladTV.com, reports that a painter by the name of John McNaughton has made an extremely controversial political piece depicting Reverend C.L. Bryant, a producer who recently produced a documentary that hold the liberal government responsible for the oppression of Black America. The painter says the Democratic Party has brought the demise of Black America. And the painting is called A Runaway Slave. Okay. My question is, because if you look at Tavis Smiley and Cornel West, they've been banging on the president for 4 years.
Okay. Yeah.
About their treatment of the black community as a whole and talking about where's the black agenda.
Right.
Should a black president have a black agenda? Now, this is the first time this president has created precedents. Mm-hmm. So has any other president said, what's my black agenda? And should a black president be held to having a black agenda, or should he just have an agenda for American people? Somebody talk to me. Doc?
That's a really interesting thing, because if he has a black agenda, given the way people think in politics, look what happened about when Colin Powell endorsed President Obama, and then the pushback from that
right.
Ann Coulter. Well, maybe the Sonomo, the guy from New Hampshire, pushed back, said, well, maybe endorsed him because, well, you know why, they're the same race. So it's I think it's. I could see how the president would feel like he'd have to go out of his way to not be pushing a black agenda, and is that doing a disservice
to black
to
people,
the black community?
Wow, that's a good point. Jeff,
are you sure?
Unleash the hounds.
Unleash it. There you go.
Are you sure? I think his first term
Excellent.
was purely about towing the line. This next term,
pepper jack sauce all over the place.
I bet he's in the national anthem about to be Flashlight.
Is it?
He about to come with it.
Cutie Pie gonna be the national anthem.
You're the reason why. No, I think it's unfair to say that any president, any person is supposed to ignore their people, especially with as many promises that have been broken to black people in this country.
But isn't broken promises to black people par for the course in this society?
Absolutely.
So why we getting bent out of shape?
I'm not bent out of shape about it, because I understand that America is a corporation, and the CEO of this corporation just happens to be black, and he is beholden
to the stockholders
of this corporation, and he got to deal with them first before he can ever get down to the people who buy the
So
product.
who would the stockholders be? Would that be corporations?
That would be the wheels behind the watch, brother. The president is the hands on the watch.
Wow.
Everybody that don't get elected, the people who are responsible for a black man even getting close, Those people are the wheels, the people you never, ever see. So the president can't tell you what time it is. He can only show you what time it is.
Wow.
Because it's the people behind him that's telling you what time it is. And
So this is the thing that bothers me, and we talked about it last week. And I brought somebody in here that's really going to pepper jack sauce on all the stuff you was talking.
Okay.
Yeah, I done brought somebody in.
It's in here today?
Yeah, from the bottom back to the top.
You mean the dude with the flat stomach and the freckles?
That dude. I ain't brought him in yet. We gonna bring him in.
All right, ladies, we got to get the camera on this dude. Especially ladies in the Midwest. Y'all know y'all love light-skinned dudes.
Oh, damn.
Dark skin is in, but the light-skinned dudes, y'all still got y'all flavor.
Call us right now and tell us what your voting experience is. Before we move on to our special guest, I want to hit up a Mitt Romney story.
Yeah, great.
Good old Mitt. Good old Mitt. Romney came out and spoke about his religion, Mormonism.
Did he speak about the tails and the monkeys?
And in 1978, the Mormon Church decided to allow blacks to have an open involvement with the religion. Before then, black men did not have full rights in the church. Mitt Romney spoke.
Was he a Mormon before 78?
Yes, he was 31 years old.
Okay, cool.
He was grown-ass Mormon.
That says it all.
Right? Mitt Romney spoke on Meet the Press and told of his experience at the age of 31 when black males were given an invitation to the Mormon Church in 1978, where he describes himself as pulling over his car and crying for joy at hearing, "Black men can join the church now. Full rights to all black men. I no longer believe that the angels who decided to go with Lucifer were cursed to be black." That's their religious belief.
And he pulled over and cried because
said he cried.
All his homies that he hang with can now be Mormon. Is that why he cried? Really?
I'm just saying, how many of you guys believe that story?
Because now is a good chance that some of his kinfolk could be mixed. Is that why he was crying?
Wow.
So now
go deeper. Go deeper, Jeff. Go deeper.
That the Mormon basketball team might make it to the Final Four this year.
Wow.
Is that why? Why was you crying? I want to know why you was crying. I want to know where the joy came from. I want to know what you was joyous about.
Doc, do you feel like what he said on Meet the Press was genuine or disingenuine? Do you feel like, because for me, politicians are, they're fork-tongued. And unfortunately, this applies to Obama as well.
Absolutely.
Obama said, he was going to overturn the Patriot Act. He didn't do that. He extended it. He said
quietly.
When you have so much pressure on you about what you're supposed to believe by all your handlers, all the wheels behind the in the watch dial, and often you drop out what you do believe. And so it's kind of unclear because I think both these candidates are being pushed with what they're supposed to believe, and that's why I think there's a hunger for us to really see who they really are. So we understand there's pressure on you, but the politics is just the pressure on them, and then the flip flopping. So it's but you're going to say something, Jeff? Go ahead.
Oh my God, I don't care who they really are. I bet you if I spent an hour around Bill Clinton, I would probably hate who he really was. But Bill Clinton didn't bring who he really was to work. He brought the pimp game to work, okay?
I don't know. I think if you hung around Bill Clinton,
I would probably dig him.
You would dig.
Okay,
Bill
I
Clinton.
might. But okay, I'll back that up. It doesn't matter whether
that's an exceptional cat right there.
I don't. He's a Rhodes Scholar.
I've seen him.
Okay, so what you're saying is it doesn't matter who they are; it's what they can get done for Americans.
Thank you. I don't care. I don't care about what you believe and whether you sleep around on your wife or whether you cheat on your taxes.
But Jeff Brown,
how much do my gas cost?
But Jeff Brown, you know who cares?
Most of America.
Bickle.
Without question. I care about where a man stands. All right. Now I'll tell you, I got to give to Bronco Obama.
Bronco
Obama. I got to give it to him. He's smart for a colored fella. I'll give you that. But 2 terms. All right. You done your little thing. You get on that way. Let the good old boys back in.
Let the good old, but I'm saying there are people in America who hold that position. So they can't be mad at black people who say we're voting for a black president because he's black. You got some people that say, you know what? A white man is supposed to be president. And the country has been in bizarro world for the last 4 years because we've had a black president. Let's get things back to normal.
That's foolish. I would never vote.
Are you trying to tell me there aren't white people out there who believe that way?
Look here. I didn't vote for Obama because he's black. That's racist and wrong. I voted for Obama because I'm black.
Okay, here we go.
I think that's as simple as it gets.
Listen, I
don't care what he don't do. He could bring slavery back, and I'd vote for him again.
Listen,
just because he's black and they don't like it. There you go.
I got to take a quick break, but when I come back, I'm going to introduce my special guest. I'm telling y'all, this is a treat. This dude is an inspiration beyond belief, and it speaks to my belief that if you plant a seed of hope. Now, I was listening to the doc and how he said, you know, you leave that, you alienate that bottom 20% out, but I don't believe that. I believe you irrigate that bottom 20%. Something special gonna come out of it.
He didn't inspire me to do some damn sit-ups.
When I come back, I'm gonna introduce my special guest. Trust me, it's a treat. 323-965-1600. I'll be back in 2.2. So What Mornings. See you in a minute. No, DJ Mr. Number Wonderful, keep it playing, keep it rolling.
That's that funk right there.
Zoe Williams. Hey, it's the So What Morning Show. It's the philosopher, the doctor, and the comedian. Jeff Brown is the comedian. The doctor is Dr. Mark Goulston.
Continental with two windows that don't work.
Hold on, man. He is the author of Just Listen, Discover the Secret to Getting Through to Absolutely Anyone. And really quickly, earlier today, he said if you email him, he will give you the 5-page executive summary of his book that I talked about that's available in the Sky Mall magazine. M. Goulston, MGOULSTON at Mark, MarkGoulston.com. M. Goulston at markgoulston.com. Email him and reference the 5-page summary. He will send it to you for free. It's a cold situation. Please support the movement. This is what we're doing. And also, don't forget, text ZO to 90210. And a lot of people are confused. How you do that is you put ZO in the message, and where the number goes, the contact goes, you put 90210. And you'll get my electronic business card, ZO to 90210. You'll get all my information. And my new book is coming out, The Relationship Dismount, February 2013. It's already written. We're editing right now. It's a cold piece of work. It's a monkey knuckle.
Light skin dude.
Okay, and Jeff Brown, really quickly, where can they find you information-wise?
At GB Funny Style. Soon to be up on SoundCloud. Jeff Brown's Ignorant Beats and Ringtones. Also, I got some ignorant ringtones. I got the kind of ringtones get you fired if they play at your job.
Right.
You need to have my ringtones and coming very soon, audio to Hefferclockers, audio to all our sketches. It's about to be crazy. We about to throw a grenade in it.
Let me tell you right now. This weekend, I did a seminar in Arizona. It was called Destined for Greatness. And we also did a relationship round table. Let me tell you, the relationship round table, I told them, I'm here to make you uncomfortable.
Damn.
I'm here to make you uncomfortable. I know you got some beliefs that you think work for relationships, but I'm here to turn all of that upside down and break all that down. And I took off from the free throw line with a blindfold on with one tennis shoe. And just
did a 180
and just tore the rim down. They didn't even know what hit them. And I met a young man there, dude, that inspired me to the nth degree. And it reminded me of the conversation that we were having last week on this here show.
Okay.
And it's specifically to your point, black folk and the N-word.
Yeah.
Leave the N's out of the game. And let's just work with the black folk and move forward and proceed.
Okay.
And the doc said something very poignant. The doc was like, the defiance that I was talking about. Like, we were talking about young black boys in school. And I'm telling you, me and this brother that I'm about to introduce, we were working hands-on with two other speakers that were brought in to talk to these kids that were from Job Corps, that were from juvenile hall, that were foster children who don't have a direction. And let me tell you something about Zoe Williams.
Tell me something about Zoe Williams.
Zoe Williams is always weatherproofing himself.
Right on.
I'm no angel.
You ain't telling me nothing about Zoe Williams. I knew that.
I've done some foul things in my life.
Foul?
As recently as last year.
Robbed the liquor store.
I'm just saying. I'm not perfect.
Push little kids
But
down.
let me tell you something. Iyanla Vanzant said something on my show. She did a year and a half ago. We did a show called Sticks and Stones Will Break My Bones, But Can Your Words Hurt Me Worse? It was a show about verbal abuse. And she said, Zoe Williams, it's not people that are bad. It's people having bad behavior. Just because you do something bad doesn't make you a bad person. And sometimes we got to connect to these kids. Because a kid can make a mistake and then that mistake be labeled, be branded on them. You're this kind of person.
Absolutely.
Just because you do something bad doesn't render you a bad person.
What does?
Listen, your ability to not take responsibility for what was done makes you a bad person. To me, non-accountability leads to that. But let me explain. Let me go even deeper. This guy, right? He struck me as somebody from the bottom, such as myself.
Right.
That was able to turn it around. That was able to flip it around in such a way, in such a dramatic fashion. First off, he is the living personification of faith. And this is why stuff like the Secret and the law of attraction, that stuff don't work for most people. You know why? Because we live in an instant gratification society.
Absolutely.
So what happens is we pray to God only when we need God. And then if God doesn't show up when we need him, we stop praying and go back into the negative thoughts that have produced the reality that we're currently living in. But this dude was able to hold steadfast to a belief that raised him above and beyond his circumstances. And I believe that if we plant these kind of seeds in the youth, the doc said a rebel without a cause, a rebel with no purpose. I'm not talking to those people. I'm talking about somebody who wants to find that philosopher's stone within themselves and cultivate it. This young man did it. I'm going to let him tell you his story. Without further ado, my proof that we should never turn our back on the bottom 20%, because one of these dudes lives there. One of these people live there. Without further ado, I want to introduce and welcome Billionaire. That's his name, damn it.
Present to some and welcome to others.
Billionaire is in the building. Speak to us, man.
Oh, man, how you doing, man? Thank you so much for having me, man.
Welcome, brother, welcome. And do me a favor.
Absolutely.
Because we can't play your video, tell us your story. I'm going to pull back and just talk to that microphone like you're talking to billions of children who need to be infected by the story you have. Tell us your story.
Well, I come from one of the most brokest families in the world, one of the most negative environments in the world. And I basically, man, just took all my negatives and turned them into a positive. And, you know, when I was in Oakland, San Jose, I just had some rough times, and I always grew up picking at like homeless people and never really understood how a person could really truly go homeless, because I thought everybody had somebody. And just due to a negative situation, I ended up in San Jose, Oakland, and San Francisco area, and I just spent 63 days in my car, and that was the best time that I could have. That was the best. It was the most people would have looked at it as the worst thing that could have ever happened, but in my mind, it was the best thing. That I did not have a place to stay, because I sat in there and I created you 366 inspirational quotes to motivate you to speak your dreams into existence. And now, you know what I'm saying, I just go around the country just inspiring people. You know, I'm a person that came from felonies, a person that committed a drug felony, committed a breaking and entering felonies, couldn't get a job, applied to over 150 companies, and they rejected me. And then my mama called me out of frustration. I said, I don't look for jobs, I create them. That's one of the quotes. I created all of this from negative situations. And I just want people to know that without your trials and tribulations, life would be boring. So you should be thankful for them.
Wow. And let me tell you, who sponsored you? After the dude was in he was homeless for 63 days, right? And then by being homeless, he's writing, listen, the dude wrote his salvation on stickums and put them on the roof of his car. Then he came back to the car, and what happened to the car?
When I was in the car, I did some soul searching with myself, and I found out that when you go out to the world, if negative things are happening, continue to happen to you, it's not the world, it's you. And so with me,
I hate to interrupt you, brother, but you're gonna have to say that again.
It's like with anything that you do in life, if you step out, I don't care if it's a relationship, if it's a job, if they continue to fire you, it's not the job, it's not the people, it's you.
Come on.
And with me, I had to just go ahead and admit that to myself and say that I was the problem of why, because you become the environment that you hang in. And if you think about it, police officers hang with police officers. Drug dealers hang with drug dealers. Broke people hang with broke people. The rich hang with the rich, and the wealthy hang with the wealthy.
Wow.
And so I had to remove myself from that negative environment and put myself around people that spoke dreams into existence. And so while I was sitting in my car, I went through my whole body, and I had a negative book before I had a positive book.
Wow.
I had a broke book, a book where I hated my mom, wish she would die, and I took all of that stuff and I turned it into something positive. And I would write quotes like, "You can never have too much faith." And while I was standing in the car and put that on the roof, I would write quotes like, I don't look for jobs, I create them. It's okay for your pockets to be broke, just make sure your mind makes sense. I fell in love with success, so I guess that means I cheated on failure. I just tested positive with MTD, motivated transmitted disease. If you touch me, look at me, email me, or hate on me, I will infect you with motivation.
Wow.
So I was basically surrounding myself around positive thoughts since I didn't have people.
And he was broke. And his steadfastness to that belief transformed his whole life. Now, you've been all over the world, correct?
Yeah, all over the country so far.
And now,
but mentally, I've been all over the world.
but who backed you?
Why physically you will
be there.
Right, the corporation, though. Who backed you?
Procter and Gamble, man, they came to me through a director. He came to me a few months ago, and he said, look, we heard about your story to inspire a lot of people. We want to do a story about it. And my exact words to him on Facebook was, as long as you're about execution, I'm not into the games. I'm only into execution.
And he played this video that details his whole story for the young kids that we mentored this past weekend in Arizona.
Is there a link to the clip?
Oh, yeah, we'll be able to see that.
Yeah, it releases this month or next month. Basically, they came in, they followed me for like 4 or 5 days, and they saw how I took my first shirt was Damn a Recession, I'm in a Succession. I took that first shirt and I sold over 5,000 shirts in 3 months. But a lot of people, but it wasn't about the money to me, man. It was about teaching other people the value of their mind, because if you never understand the value of your mind, people will always pay you pennies.
Wow. I mean, do you hear this kid right now? How old are you, brother?
Man, I treat every day like it's my birthday. I just turned wealthy. When I tell you I wrote a quote for everything, bro, I took every situation and wrote a quote, because me sitting in this studio, when I was in my car, I saw you guys. I spoke you into existence. I was on this radio show. This is not new to me. This is what people like The Secret do. They envision this. We don't need other people to believe in us. Like, Wealthy Minds is already on Wall Street. It's already the future. Barack Obama already got my single, Too Much Faith, because we envision our future. The difference between employees and entrepreneurs is employees need to see they check. Entrepreneurs, we envision the check. We don't know when it's coming.
We don't know where it's coming from.
It's coming from, bruh.
Now, let's do this really quickly. Everything that happens to you is a reflection of what you believe about yourself. We cannot listen to this. Listen.
So true.
We cannot outperform our level of self-esteem. Wow. We cannot draw to ourselves more than we think we are worth. Iyanla Vanzant. You can't draw to yourself more than what you are currently. This dude didn't have externally, but he was infinitely wealthy internally. Now go back to the point I made last week. If this dude, after he failed out of school or did whatever, if somebody came to him and said, no, I'm connected to what's inside you as opposed to what you have externally, and bought into him, he's part of the bottom.
So he's not who I was talking about.
I know, but what I'm saying is, who you think you were talking to, listen to me, who you think you're talking about is this gentleman, because he has been a felon. He has done bad things. Iyanla Vanzant, let me go back to her. I had to do this. We are not bad people. We just have bad behavior. That's Iyanla Vanzant. And I'm saying some of the dudes that we write off as hood, as no good, or some of the women that we do that to, they just need to be connected to. Maybe we don't have the tools. Maybe we don't have the vernacular. Maybe we're missing something that would connect to them. But if we can...
I don't agree with
Yeah, what would you say?
I know you don't, but I brought you the proof.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't. Okay.
Let Mark talk.
What would you say to people listening to this and saying, well, that'll work for you, it won't work for me because you got courage, you got perseverance, you're fearless, I'm filled with fear. So what would you say to those people who say, well, we're not alike?
Been there, done that.
Yeah, no. I would basically tell them this. For example, you don't speak English because you are American. You speak English because you were raised in an environment that speaks English. I put myself around people who were persistent. I put myself around people who had bigger goals and bigger obstacles than material stuff. And if you do that, a rich person can't teach you to be broke. They change your whole mentality, and that's what happened to me. My real estate investor he helped take me out of the car, and then he bred a wealthy mind. He took me through a dictionary and told me to rip all the pages out, and he told me to write EXECUTE, execute. That's all people care about. But before him, nobody had ever taught me that. People only taught me drugs. People only taught me how to be broke. People only taught me how to get over on people. And so that's the lifestyle I live.
So you take him out of an environment and put him him in a different one, he's going to adapt.
Yeah, but
You're killing me right now.
Tell the story of this person who reached in and saw something in you that nobody else saw. There was a moment in which you didn't think he was BSing you, and he saw something. He saw who you could be, and it felt sincere because I think we're going to feel the gratitude come right out of you.
What he saw was a person that had energy and passion, but it was applied to the wrong things. Ooh. And if he felt as if he taught me to take that energy and apply it elsewhere and still show me how to make money, but legally, then he would teach me. He told me, like my grandmother said, she said, one day, if you ever touch anything positive, you are going to infect a lot of people.
Wow.
But you selling them drugs, I just can't do that.
Wow.
And what enabled you to believe him that he really meant it as opposed to feeling he was just someone selling you something?
Because at the time, just where I'm from, this dude, he wasn't rich, he was wealthy. He didn't have to spend 2 seconds with me. He didn't have to talk to me. He actually lost money talking to me. Just because his he could have had other $1 million
been making money somewhere else. Right.
With me, I couldn't. He taught me real estate. He taught me everything that I know. And just to have, that was the first person that I felt like outside of my grandmother that took on a role that he didn't have to, just to make sure it turned in. To this day, this dude doesn't call me and ask me for one thing. He calls me and he says, I don't want to know. He's a business person. He's just like, I want to know how much money you made because you got to eat. Granted, I love to inspire people, but it's still there's still a business side of it too that he wants me to get down and do what I love to do. I don't want to go to somebody else's job and work on their job and do what they love to do. That's their job. I love to inspire people. I want to be a billionaire with other billionaires, a millionaire with other millionaires. I don't want to be the one millionaire and we go out to eat and everybody's breaking me. That's what he taught me.
Wow.
If he was listening in right now, what words would you find to thank him? What would you say to him if he was listening in?
I'm going to tell you like this. When I left San Jose, when I got on my feet, and you're talking about leaving a wealthy man that had my back. I left his house like, when I tell you this dude's house was so big, he brought the outside in a house, like trees and stuff. That's how big it is.
Outside was inside.
Outside in.
Like, he put ponds in the house.
Like, I got everything in here but some outside.
When I left there, I told him that I would not call him ever again unless I made it. When I called him, when Wealthy Minds got that documentary picked up by Procter & Gamble,
wow,
and my video, Too Much Faith, got over 500,000 views in 3 weeks, I called him and I said, we made it. Like, I could feel that that's all he wanted me to do.
And you saying we made it, that is the thanks to him.
That was my thanks, just because when I left San Jose, he was like, you're going to leave from being helped to going back to, because I came here to intern. So in his mind, it was backwards. But I said, look what I did for your business and how much I help your business. And I'm not passionate about real estate. Imagine what I'll do behind my passion.
Wow.
I said, let me go do what I love to do. And I promise, if I don't make it, I won't call you. But when I make it, it took me 3-4 years. I called him like a few months ago, and I told him we made it a few months ago.
Wow. Now,
what did he say?
Oh man, he knew I was gonna make it, man. Like, to me, you know who executors are. You know, I'm only into execution. If you talk to anybody that works with me, they'll tell you, like, that's what I do. I execute, and that's all people care about. They don't care about your mama being sick. My mama had screws in her leg like Superman had in his head. My dad was in a coma. You know, I done put a gun to my head, pulled the trigger twice. Everything you can think of, I done it to leave this world. But my mind was so powerful that I didn't understand the value of it. And so I say all of that nobody cares about your excuses. Just execute.
But see, let me come back to my point. What about Chief Keef?
What about him?
This hood kid, all type of murder and suspicion and ignorance, but he wouldn't be in his position if there wasn't something in him. And I got homeboys that were gangbangers. I got a homeboy from Pasadena. He's a reverend now. I ain't gonna put his name out there. He's a reverend now. He was a part of the PDL Blood Gang, Pasadena, Denver Lane.
We probably talking to the same dude.
Right? I ain't gonna put his name out there.
Put him out there, but yeah.
But the dude told me years ago how he was able to gather, listen to this, man, the dark energy to go out and kill. He said, man, I pray to the devil now. because that's how I build up this energy to take a life. Now go back to what Dr. Mark said about how people feel immediately after they kill someone.
They want to kill themselves.
Right, because that's a monumentally spiritual thing to do, is to take another human life. This dude told me in order to cope, he had to pray to the devil.
Okay.
But guess what had happened to him? As he got older, as he went to prison, as he had to go through all type of trial and tribulation that actually transformed him from the inside out, he saw the error of his ways. He went through what the doc spoke of when he felt like he wanted to take his own life because of the atrocities he's committed against somebody else. I'm saying, if we infect our hope, our belief, our support in those that we think are not worth it, we can change some of those people too. I'm just saying. Jeff Brown, go.
What you basically described in a generic fashion is the exact same story of El-Hajj Malik Shabazz.
I'm generic now?
No,
no, I'm just playing.
That particular story. That's Malcolm X's story.
Right. How many Malcolm X's are we turning our back on?
Okay.
Chief Keef could be Malcolm X.
You know what? I'm going to need 30 uninterrupted seconds.
Okay,
if I can get that.
There you go.
This cat,
I'm over here.
This cat right here is light years from what I am describing purely because of his seed and his belief in it. There are people, you can't sell me on how beautiful black people are or how beautiful the hood is.
Even the ugly ones.
Even the ugly ones. What you cannot also sell me on is that there are some inherently unreachable bad people. I have seen them.
Yes,
I have been in their presence.
I agree.
These people do not have what this brother has. And I am not trying to reach them.
Or we can't see it.
Okay, well, we can't see it.
How about that?
Okay, well, in the interest of its sight, in the interest of their future, if I were made emperor, you need to find your light. Because if you do not find your light by this date, we are going to gather.
We're going to kill you.
We're going to gather you and march your monkey asses to the edge of the earth and kick you off.
But what I'm saying is,
hold on. So that there is room to cultivate, to gather, to be with, to inspire cats like that.
But what I'm saying is, before his seed buds, before it blossoms, and you send out the Inquisition of Nigritude, where we're knocking on the door, the Nigritude Inquisition.
Free ribs.
I'm saying, do it. The Nigritude Inquisition.
Yes, Nigritude Inquisition coming through. So ice cream truck coming through the hood, playing Waka Flocka. Free ribs. Free 4-finger rings.
And they running out.
Gold fronts.
LeBrons,
all free.
Jordan 13s.
I'm going to gather you up.
But I'm going to get back to our guest, though, because there was a point at which you decided, because you were so far down, you could have gotten even from an angry place or gotten ahead and moved through it. So any memories about any turning points when you said...
Absolutely.
So talk about that turning point, because a lot of people say, heck with it, I'm going to get even. The world doesn't care about me. I'm not going to care about it. And more than that, I'm going to retaliate. So what happened to you?
The turning point for me was when I was on the Bay Bridge, and I could see I have never been out of the South. I didn't even know if I was in the Atlantic Ocean or the Pacific. And when I looked in the ocean, it was a photographer out there, and he said, "Man, you know that's the Pacific." But I didn't know that. I just said it was a big lake, because that's all I knew where I'm from. And when I saw all that water, most people saw water, I saw opportunity.
Wow.
And I said, if God, on day 14, I started believing in God. I went my whole life, and because I came from such a negative background, like Zoe said earlier. Growing up as a child, my grandmother would pray, but we always lived in the house with no light. So it was like no God exists to me.
Come on, man.
Because I needed instant gratification. And
dude, this dude is me.
To me, prayer came later.
This dude is me.
And so while I was sitting there, it seemed like now that I do believe in God, it seemed like everything that I went through prepared me to get to the point now where you can't even take my faith away from me. And while I was sitting there looking at that water, I honestly did not see water. I just seen opportunity. And I said, if God give me the opportunity, if somebody believes in me, I'm going to execute it.
When you on the Bay Bridge, were you thinking of jumping off that Bay Bridge or no?
No, I wasn't thinking of, at that time I was finding myself. You know what I'm saying? Right. I had no thoughts of jumping off. I mean, I've attempted, a suicide like twice.
Wow.
So, you know what I'm saying? That way I would, if it was, I would, because I'm a blunt person. You know, I give people the truth. So my grandmother always told me, tell people the truth so they have the option to like you. Don't take that option from them.
Right.
And so while I was standing there, I saw my opportunity. And if you talk to anybody in this industry, you know, another one of my mentors is Reginald Hudlin. That dude will tell you that dude is a pure executor. I walked in the network as an intern. When they said bring water, I brought cold and hot because I didn't know if they wanted coffee or cold water. That's just the way I think. And that person will tell you I had no doubts that kid would succeed, because when you execute, it doesn't matter. Like people, you'll bring the right people around you, which you'll bring quality people around you, and the quantity will disappear.
Now,
you don't want the fake people.
Burn off.
You know what's so beautiful about this whole situation? See, look at this guy's story. Look at where he's coming from. Look at his dynamic. Then what happens if you throw a relationship on top of that with somebody? He already has expectations for himself, right?
It depends on who you throw on it.
Right. But the point that I'm trying to make is, imagine if he had somebody that put a time limit on when he was supposed to succeed.
Thank you.
You with somebody and they going, well, damn, how long is it going to take for you to blow up? I believe in you, but conditionally.
Oh, wait, these stickers on the roof of this car is on my nerves.
Do the disgruntled girl.
Oh, God. Billionaire. Would you take $9 of your $1 billion and buy us both a Subway sandwich? Damn. Oh, wait. Why this car got to stink like this? Oh, my God. Oh, man, we can't do nothing. You rich and we can't do nothing?
You only need $999,999.
And so, you know, if I can say this, you know, the thing that I like about your book, when you know you're walking in route to success, and I want to say this, most people never accumulate success because they don't define what success means to them. And like, success could be from me to you. And what I've learned to do is just enjoy that route to success, because I may never make it to you. And a lot of people will make this massage of what success is and they never get to it. So it's like you lived a life and didn't enjoy it. Wow. And so like right now, I'm gonna speak like the Oprahs and the interviews into existence, but right now I'm gonna appreciate, you know, this one at this radio station, just being humble enough to say, if I don't make it to that one, at least I spoke this dream into existence. And I just think if people would just define what success meant to them, they would be able to enjoy it. And then speaking on your book, you know, the one thing that helped me is my grandmother taught me to basically talk with my ears and listen with my mouth. And that basically means use your ears more than your mouth. So when you're around people who have accumulated success that you have not, listen to them. You don't have to take the advice or not, but at least listen to them and then apply it however it best fits you. And that's what I did. I met a dude who taught me everything about how you make money. And from him teaching me, it taught me that money to me is a promissory note that acquires debt. But knowledge is a promissory note that'll acquire power. And so I was into educating people the value of their mind. I was into teaching people, you know, I wrote a quote where I drove around in a car for 2 years and I had no reverse. And I took this negative situation and I turned this into a positive, and I said the reverse on my car went out on me, but it's okay because it's a direct representation of me. Quote, I don't go backwards.
Wow. Now, see, the doctor, you're a doctor. You're a PhD. You're this guy right here. This is somebody you need to know. Dr. Mark Goulston, this is somebody you need to know. This dude right here trains people how to negotiate. He trains negotiators.
But he said something
Doc, let me set you up here.
Okay.
This is what I need. In looking at this young man, I know you assess people because people talk about you online, Doc. Move out the way. Let me see, Doc. They talk about you. They love the way you're looking at Jeff. They laugh at it. Go, look at the way the doctor is looking at Jeff.
Like he gonna throw a net over his head.
Right. They
and
love
hit him in the neck with some morphine.
Right. They love the way you're looking at us because it's not the doc is looking through you. That's what I love about the doc. He is looking beyond your words. He's reading the body language. What do you see when you see that kid over there? What are you seeing, Doc?
You know what I see that you have that a lot of people don't have? A lot of people, they race ahead of themselves and say, well, nothing's going to change in the future, so I'm not going to try. So they have this negative thing. Well, why try?
So are you speaking to my ex-girlfriend? Oh, go deeper, Doc.
No. But I think the biggest negative thing, and that's why a lot of people won't know that the journey of life begins with one step. They will race ahead and say, well, I'm not going to be happy. I'm not going to find a relationship. I'm never going to have a job. So why try what I'm doing today? So you've been able to say all you got is today. And if you focus on executing today and let go of being attached to that thing in the future will happen, and you live that, whereas so many other people live where they project, it's not going to happen, I'm not going to do anything. Do you follow what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely.
Say more if that fits you at all.
Oh, man, you have no idea, brother, how happy I am to be here.
Really?
Like, I'm not even just happy because happy is temporary to me. I'm joyful. Joyful is forever. Like, no matter what I have or what I don't have, I'm going to always be joyful. And, like, I really appreciate, just being able to speak with, like, people with Zoe and to even bring me into an atmosphere like this. Like, you have to realize, like, when I was sitting in a car, I really spoke this into existence. I took my mentality and I said, one day, when that dude said, one day, you're going to be a speaker, man, because you have the passion. Like, when somebody shows, it exudes you. And I was so passionate that I was passionate about negative stuff. He said, I'm going to take that and put that on positive stuff. And then I would just write quotes like, I don't even believe negative people exist, but maybe that's because I don't hang with them.
Okay, I want to tell you, I hear a calling that's calling out to you. So I'm gonna be the word.
Yeah, you need to make T-shirts. You need to make T-shirts.
Wait, let the doc go.
I see T-shirts and zigzags. Like, if you could put this positivity on the back of zigzags, see him I can get high around. You, I don't know, but dude, I don't know. Okay, the Lord gonna bless me too, and at some point, I'm gonna pay you $100,000. Just hang out with me while I'm high. Just talk.
Tell me some of this inspirational stuff.
Just open your book and talk while I'm high. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Doc.
I sometimes see people's brands, so I got a brand for you. I mean, you got to. But when I see you, I see the world is saying to you, "Can you let people know that anything's possible? Can you be our spokesperson?" And I think there's a calling towards you that says, and from the people that really don't think it's true, they look at you and say, is anything possible? And I could see that you could look out into the world and say, damn straight. And
wow.
Let me tell you one thing that has tremendously helped my clothing brand. I created a Wealthy Minds dream wall from when I was sitting in the car. When Zoe was telling you I would put the quotes on around the roof. Like, if you get in my truck now, you'll see the pins in the car from where the quotes were.
The boy got the car back.
If you walk into my house now, we created a dream wall in my personal house where people come from Peru, Africa, all over the world, and they write their dreams and they put it on the wall. And I understand a lot of people will say they live their dreams, but there's a lot of people in the world that never make it to living. They have to have the passion to believe. And so I started with, most people need to be careful what they speak, because most people are speaking brokenness into existence. So I wanted to let people come to my house and write their dreams on that wall and just let them know that speaking your dream into existence is only a small percentage of actually taking that idea and executing it.
Right.
But I need you to formulate the idea and tell me what is success to you. How can I help you get that? And if it's just, if you want to get a Phantom, if a car, if that's your dream, you deserve every bit of it to come true. Who am I to tell you that dream shouldn't come true? My dream is to infect over 1 billion people with success, motivation, and wealth, and encourage them to develop wealthy minds and speak their dreams into existence. That's my dream. And I'm going to do that through my speaking, through my music, through my movies, And I'm gonna, whatever God bless me to do, if it's being on somebody's brand and helping them speak their dreams into existence, at the end of the day, I truly find joy off seeing this man right here speak his dream into existence.
Damn it, if it's T-shirts and zigzags, it's going to be something.
Hey, if it's
and
T-shirts
again,
and zigzag, we'll take that.
No, when I see you though, I see your brand is when anything's possible. Your brand is hope, which is different than wealth. Which wealth is great, wealthy minds is great, but I think you have a much bigger calling, which is anything's possible. I think that's how you show up. And by the way, if one of the things is wealth, change the world, you can do any of that stuff. But as I experience you in the room, I don't see you. You want to get rich. I see you embody. There's hope for everybody, and I'm here to help you find that.
And you know what's amazing? This kid right here, full circle. This guy is the rebel with a cause. And he is rebellion because most people have made mediocrity and hopelessness the norm. They've made it okay. Safety. This dude is risk.
On the real?
I'm telling you, when we spoke to these people, y'all know I go in the room, I light it up. This dude had people on their feet the entire time. We talked to these kids for 3 hours, 4 speakers, back to back to back.
Well, you know,
this kid is on fire, man.
I see that you have the guts, and it takes guts to do this. To wrap your infinite dreams over your finite number of heartbeats.
Woo!
That takes guts. Because like you said, people run out into their own future and go, it's just going to be like that, so screw it. You don't do that. What you said about being happy here hit me so hard about, dude, I see infinite possibility for myself.
Right.
But I only got this many heartbeats, and I don't know what that this many is. I could get hit by a bus. I don't know what it is, but I don't care.
Right.
I don't care about my heartbeats. I care about what it is I see, and I'm going to wrap that around my existence right now.
Right.
And it takes a lot of guts to do.
Oh yeah, and I'm like that because I tell you about the real estate investor, but before I met him, I met a lady that actually took me out of the car. And so that could be looked at as, the Roscoe's Media Center. Mm-hmm. And then you could look at your Oprah. So it's like I could have never met that person without the person that introduced me to him. And so that's why I'm very, very grateful. And if you speak to any of those people, that his main thing was just stay humble the whole entire time, and don't ever, what I'm saying? Like, some people, I just tell people like this, like, if you see me out and I'm having fun, just know this, I'm excited. I haven't always been able to go and afford food. You know what I'm saying? So I haven't always been able to go out and take my family and show them a good time. And so I'm an excited person, and I want to have fun, and I want to continue to speak my dreams into existence. But not only that, I want to bring people with me, people who were absolutely nothing, and I took them from, it's not even about me. I think you should give all the glory to God. And I just want to take them and teach them to execute their dream and use the value of their mind, and they can execute that.
And let me just do this. The Dalai Lama. The Dalai Lama has a great quote, and this guy is the personification of this quote. Take into account that great love and great achievement involve great risk. You can't be the normal guy and do what he does.
No. You can't have normal thoughts, normal food, normal people.
And the problem,
you gotta get rid of normal.
And somebody talked to me about this. Everybody's involved in this conversation. The problem with most people, especially with regards to relationship, especially with regards to how we relate to each other, whether it's an intimate relationship or business relationship, we're looking for our own little safety net. We're looking for our own agenda, the accomplishment of it.
See, I don't think he's taking any risks at all.
I don't either.
No, I think what it is you see something clearly that you never saw before, so you just follow what you're seeing, and it's clear, and it filters out all the other stuff that you're not going to focus on. So something is drawing you, and I think if you can help people to see clearly into their future, I think that's a huge gift that you could give mankind, because a lot of people can't see past their nose. But I'm not saying you're not a risk taker, but I think there's a clarity that has come upon you, and you just make your way in the world towards that clarity.
Exactly. I'm like I said earlier, a lot of people have eyes and they can see, but not everybody has vision. And I'm just one of those people that I have vision to speak what I want into existence.
That's exactly what we say.
You know what I see on this cat, and I don't quote the Bible often, but what you have is the favor of David. Okay, David.
Okay. Do you want me to pass the basket?
No, because
sure?
I don't dig that playbook.
Reverend Do-Rag?
I don't dig. I like that. I don't dig that playbook, but I can preach it.
Okay.
You have the great fortune of being in a position to where you had to see and deal with the undeniable naked hand of God. When so many people aren't brought to
God's
a precipice.
hand is naked.
God, yeah. When God's hand is naked, ain't no religion on it. Ain't no First Sunday on it. Ain't no collection plate on it.
No
Look here,
dogma.
Lord, I'm sitting here in this car and I'm hungry. Now, if you God,
make it happen.
Make it happen. And
somebody order pizza.
Somebody, yeah. I got too many pizzas. People don't get enough of that, and they don't trust enough of that. And that's why when you see something at this point in your life, you know you've seen God show up. A lot of people are in positions where they kind of diffuse God with coincidence, and they diffuse God with, I got some money. Once you've been down and really, really pray and see God show up and really understand that that's him, it's real tough to go the other way.
Okay, so listen, this is my dilemma right now.
What's your dilemma right now?
I want to continue this conversation.
Can I sip my pit bull?
But I have a terrible story that I have to throw your way.
Okay. Should I do the sound?
You gotta do an Asian man's voice.
Okay.
This is gonna be terrible. But before I do that, what I want to do is throw it to the brother, billionaire. Where can they find you? Where can they get your stuff? As a matter of fact, take a look at his shirt right now. He's wearing one of the shirts. He gave me a shirt here. But what does this shirt say? I want them to be able to see that shirt. And where can they go buy these shirts? Now, I'm going to put my kid in this shirt. My son's going to go to school. I already bought the hat from him. But my son's going to go to school and see that in this shirt. I speak dreams into existence. He got shirts for girls. He got all type of flyness like that. And the dude been all over the country from being homeless. And his mission is to infect 1 billion people with what?
My mission is to infect over 1 billion people with success, motivation, and wealth, and encourage you to speak your dream into existence and develop a wealthy mind. Meaning, understand the value of your mind and don't never put your dreams in another person's hand, because they'll never care about it like you.
Wow.
That's it.
That's it. So, website really quickly. Where can they find you, brother?
WealthyMindsClothing.com. If you type that in, it will motivate you.
Twitter. Where can they find you, brother?
At Billionaire PA. And don't follow me, be a leader.
Wow. Where is your Facebook, pimp?
Facebook is Wealthy Minds and Speak Your Dreams into Existence.
I want everybody to connect
with this dude.
Period.
Absolutely.
Oh man.
Be infected by him so his infection can kill your hater antibodies.
Hey, so if it's okay, man, my new single just came out, Too Much Faith by Wealthy Minds, which came from the quote, you can never have too much faith. We just released it 3 weeks ago and it got like over 500,000 views in 3 weeks. So everybody, if you could just support that, man. If you look at it, I just wanted to inspire those kids that's in that video that I mentor. Right now I mentor over like 50,000 kids from all the schools that I speak in, and it's going to continue to grow. I'm hands-on with them, and one thing that we will do is execute. Whether one person or 2 people help us or not, we going to get these dreams.
And dude, I'm telling you, I'm a witness to it. You know what was so cold about this kid? I'm watching him do his thing. I'm done. I did my thing. I'm watching him do his thing, and he's incorporating me in his thing.
Yeah. You lighting your cigarette on his sleeve because he on fire.
I'm sitting in the back like I'm through. I did what I needed to do, and he keep mentioning me. And so Williams just said, and whoop whoop whoop. I'm like, this kid is on fire. fire.
Oh yeah.
Because anytime you do like a speech, I don't want people to think that we are individual success. I want to be able to connect all of the dots, and those kids need to understand that life and movies, all that is like a story. Like, I have to get you connected with the first speaker, the second speaker, the third speaker, and the fourth speaker. Now, how does all of that tie up to you? And then I go through what each speaker says. I don't write quotes. I listen well, and then I'm able to write my speeches from the people who go before me. And then like Zoe said, don't, we were speaking about relationship, and he mentioned don't date an idea. And most people, dreams never come true because they're just ideas. They never know how to turn them into reality or execute them. And so and then the other guy, his company was tied to greatness, and I was able to say, most people better tie themselves up to greatness, or failure will choke you. And he able
came
to
up with that right there on the spot. That was Johnny on the spot.
And then the other guy, Ryan, he spoke about, financial literacy, and a lot of people, they don't have money in their pockets. And what I want them to know is it's okay for your pockets to be broke. Just make sure your mind makes sense.
Whoa,
man.
That's it, brother.
Come on now.
All wealth is intelligent decision in a straight line over a given period of time.
But you know what? People misunderstand wealth too. Wealth is joy. And you ain't got to have a pocket full of money, because there's a lot of people with a pocket full of money and unhappy.
Yeah.
You understand there's different kinds of currency. And we've put too much emphasis on the kind that folds in your pocket than the kind that enfolds in your heart. Most people's love, it don't unfold. It's conditional. And if you don't meet a particular benchmark, you now unhappy with that person without understanding that you put the ceiling on your capacity to love.
Wow.
Most people don't understand that. Doc, what do you have to say, man?
What I like most about you, man, is you're very comfortable in your own skin.
Right?
And there are so many people in the world who would give anything to be comfortable in their own skin. So if people have a chance to hear you, they should race to hear you, because so many people just aren't comfortable in their own skin. And so they're lost in the world and they're lost inside. And I think you could show them the way.
And I thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I want to say this to Zoe real quick, because I want people to understand that it is not money that has gotten me to the point of where I am. It is the value of relationships. And without Zoe inviting me here, I would not be at this studio. So I just want to thank him and you guys for having me to come in here. But I really stress on formulate relationships. Relationships do not get caught up in money.
You understand that? Let me just say, we have very limited time. I was going to do another story. I'll just save it for next week when Chuck Doe comes back. I want to see her uncomfortability when she reads it. So I'll wait.
She should have been here for this.
No, for real. Hey, listen. The purpose of this show is to entertain, is to enlighten, is to make you laugh, is to make you think.
If she ain't gonna give Jesus none, she should,
She's definitely give him some. Baby Malcolm should get some.
Ladies, he deserves some. Okay? Light skin, freckles, mohawk, and all. Y'all see you need to be making babies with a cat like that. Because you're gonna make a junior one of them.
I'm just saying. Okay. I'm just saying. The dude learned from his pain.
Stop screwing horrible dudes. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, Jesus. But let me just say, this is the purpose of this show. Zoe what? Zoe, what's happening in your life? How can we be of service? This is the talk show that listens. I want to bring guests on like this young man so that you may be able to experience that there is hope. Did you hear what the doc said? This dude is a harbinger of hope.
Yes.
And that is worth more than having a pocket full of money and a cavernous hole, a cave for a heart. Do you understand? This brother inspires me. That's why I brought him on. And I want to inspire you. I want to change your life. That's the purpose of having a platform like this.
Bringing hope to your cavernous hole.
So with that said, text me, ZO, to 90210. Put 90210 in the number space and text Zoe in the message space, and you'll get my information. I want you to follow this young man. This is an example of how you come from the bottom, you come from hell. You meet your floor, and then you bounce up. Because when you hit the floor, there's only one place to go. Up. Where can they find you, Jeff Brown?
At GB Funny Style. Facebook, Jeff Brown. Comedian Jeff Brown. Just Google it. I'm available for children's parties,
No,
wakes.
no.
I will rock a wake. Let me
Not
tell
for
you,
not for children parties.
I got a children party show.
Give
I
me
do church shows.
give me your best child joke right now.
I
Quick.
can't. It's dirty.
That's what I mean. You gonna tell the okay? Smell your finger, little boy. That's what you got. Is that what you got for us? Anyway, Mark Goulston. Don't forget, gotta get this man's book. Email Mark Goulston. We already gave out the email address. I'll give it out again if I can find it. It's on one. Here it is. Mark M. Goulston at markgoulston.com. Goulston is spelled Goulston. M. Goulston at markgoulston.com. If you email him, you're going to get the 5-page executive summary of his book for free. This is what they were selling in the Sky Mall. I saw him promoting it. I said, I got to call my homie and let him know. Mark, what's your website again?
Well, you spelled it out. MarkGoulston.com, MarkGoulston.com. Come visit. Throw in your email there. I have a newsletter. If you like kind of what I say here, you'll hear more of it.
And I'm telling you right now, I'm about to change the world. Come February 23rd, my new book, The Relationship Dismount. How to Stick the Landing.
Love that title.
When you're trying to let go of somebody, when you're trying to break up with somebody, how do you stick the landing? You know, the landing is most important. I don't want you to bring all of this relationship debris with you.
Come on in the office. Bring your
So
playbook.
let me just say, we got to go, but I appreciate you all, and I'll see you next week. Deuces! So what? We out.